Right, because we're going to put this in print. I'm going to read top to bottom. Chain of controls by the forced employee to slavery, collusion, Title 18, Section 241. Top of the board we have the casinos, whose motivation is greed and jealousy, which is not protected by law, yet our First Amendment rights are. The casinos gave a huge donation to ACU over on the left, and then seized the sidewalks by any means was the arrow down to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitor Authority Board of Directors, who then over here on the right decided to tell the Clark County Board of Supervisors what to write, told the City Council what to write, and coincidentally, Clark County Board of Supervisors and the Las Vegas City Council have the same members as some of the Board of Directors. So this goes down to the casinos being the masterminds, using a legitimate organization or so-called legitimate organization, Convention and Visitor Authority, in order to have kind of like a star chamber in order to control everybody and force the performers off the streets. Las Vegas Convention and Visitor Authority Board of Directors directs Sheriff Lombardo and also John Pielter of the CCAC. Down to the Sheriff Lombardo, Metro deputies yellow and brown shirts, where the division is on the CCAC, the green jumpsuit guys over here, the Convention Center Area Command. And then they go down to this red line and they issue tickets to the performers. Now the green boxes directly below Metro and CCAC is a stand down or CCAC avoid union reps at all cost. That's where we've confronted them when harassing performers, and they've actually taken off instead of issuing the tickets. Now we're going to go back up to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitor Authority in the city of Las Vegas, under Brad Jerbick as the city attorney, as prosecutor, and Mary McFillane, she's the business licensing manager. I don't think she has any direct knowledge of the criminal wrongdoing. I think she's doing what she's told by the city council. But Jerbick, however, does. Now you see the arrow goes from Brad Jerbick, city attorney, the Fremont Street Experience LLC, board of directors, and Desert Rock Enterprises LLC, which is headed by Derek Stevens, who owns the D, the Las Vegas Club, and the Golden Gate. As you see, the arrows go down from Brad Jerbick, city prosecutor, to the city home marshals, who are the enforcers of the bullshit ordinances on Fremont. And they go down there, and we're going to get back to that red arrow, where you see Brad Jerbick and the city marshals stand down orders, and the same with the marshals there. It's the same deals with Metro, yellow, brown, and green deputies. When they're confronted with the law and a union rep, they back off. Now the blue line going from Brad Jerbick, city attorney prosecutor, down here to Clark County is self-explanatory. Now the blue line coming here from Fremont Street is Fremont Street Experience LLC. Blue shirts have no legal authority whatsoever. Yet they issue what is the equivalent of a citizen's arrest to a police officer who actually makes it a real arrest, which is unlawful. If they say they heard somebody playing above a certain noise level, they can't tell a third-party officer to issue a ticket unless that officer witnesses it. That's illegal. Yet they do that. It's the same as somebody saying, hey, that guy over there was speeding on the freeway, issue him a speeding ticket, and the officer going out at your direction and handling it. It goes down to the blue line here, the Clark County Court's disciplinary for actions for Fremont Street performers, which can result in wrongful termination and constructive discharge of performers being forced off of a public street. Now we have the same problem over here with Clark County Board of Supervisors, and as you can see, CCAC and the Las Vegas Convention Authority deal directly with Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson. These people all know better. They know they're violating many laws, but they're doing it anyway because they don't think they're going to get any resistance. Now, oddly enough, the yellow, brown, and green shirts, the red arrows going down to this box here, other disciplinary and criminal activity for performers. Both these courts from Fremont and the Strip wind up issuing false criminal records for public performance. Now we're going to go back up here to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitor Authority and Steve Wolfson. There was a court set up with a $200,000 grant from the Department of Justice to deal with the homeless problem in the resort corridor. Well, that money has been misused by a de facto court called the Las Vegas Township Community whatever. And this court is run by Joe Bonaventure. It has no flags, it has no authority, it operates in a vacant floor of the Clark County building. It has no legal reason to exist. I sat through 4 consecutive days of trial, and there's no American flag, there's no state flag. It says the Supreme Court of Nevada, which it is not, which is misleading and also deprives the performers of Sixth Amendment protections because they do not allow due process, and they do a second interrogation before you're even allowed to enter a plea. Well, if this court under Joe Bonaventure is nothing more than a human resources board of suspension, termination, wrongful discharge, or constructive discharge, wrongful termination. Now, if you happen to be a street performer that works at a casino, they drop the charges because they're doing this all in the benefit of the casino. Now you go back to where yellow, brown, and green shirts bring people here, and as you can see, CCAC and Metro come back to this court. This court is completely illegal. It has no standing under the law. It is a kangaroo court and an unlawful tribunal. You go back down here, I can't read these last words. It says the DA's office objects to NRS and federal administration. But basically here, you know, it looks like in 7 minutes here I've been able to summarize the entire conspiracy. All these parties involved are violating Title 18, Section 241 of U.S. Code when 2 or more parties conspire to deprive people of constitutional rights. And it's not just constitutional rights, it's human rights, civil rights, labor rights. If anything, these courts here, Clark County Court and the Bonaventure Court, are not courts of competent jurisdiction because this is a primary labor dispute. We would normally be independent contractors under the law when we're performing, yet we've been forced into a strange employer, multi-employer relationship, joint employer relationship with all these parties because they are trying to control the sidewalks. They're controlling a community and a labor workforce of public performers. The problem with this is if we were on private property, they would be allowed to do this because of private property privileges and rights. However, we are on public property, the bridges, the sidewalks, and Fremont Street, and they have seized so many controls. I believe we came up with 32 control tests. You only need 3 of 19 to demonstrate an employer-employee relationship. We have 33. Because you can't have the rights and privileges of an employer without the liabilities and responsibilities. And one of those is $8.25 an hour state minimum wage or $7.25 an hour federal minimum wage. This compensation is past due. The meter's been running for a couple of years now. And the main thing with the civil aspects, with all the liability, from OSHA to EEOC to denying of bathroom access to restraint of speech when they turn up the volume for ambient music, because protected speech has rights over commercial speech in a public forum. You have, you know, a violation of the first, fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendments, possibly the 24th Amendment on slavery, because when they take you from being an independent contractor, force you into being an employee, and then it's taking it one step further to arrest you in a public place for no criminal wrongdoing, take you to jail, and seize your property. That is just a shade away from slavery, because essentially you're just walking down the street or talking to somebody and they're throwing you in jail. So there's the conspiracy, there's all the bad guys. And the courts right now are denying union representation on a clearly labor relations matter in the courts due to constructive discharge, wrongful termination, and malicious prosecution. Sonic Labor and Visual Entertainers Union.